Hey everybody out there, Chris and Mike here, and welcome back to another indie comic book review. The review is going through books that were released on January 8th, 2014, but we do have one book that Mike and I once again read that did not come out on January 8th, 2014. And as soon as Mike has his pictures up, which he never has them up before we start.
Oh, I got it. Don't worry. Go ahead.
Is Argo 5 issue number 7.
Yes.
And in this issue there is mention of the Paladins. I want to make sure I said their name right. It's towards the middle of the book.
Yeah, artwork is fantastic as always. I mean, the art and even the story about the medallion and everything.
For more about Merlin's Amulet and the Paladins, you check out Argo Comics Anthology Issue 2, 5, and 6. If you want the full origin, I believe it's Issue 6, but if you're going to get Issue 6, I recommend getting the entirety of the series
to understand what's going on.
So, we're jumping 2 issues back now. Last issue was all about Blue Dynamo's origin. This issue continues the story from 2 issues back, where Shazrath is looking for his evil brother, Gadu, who is still walking around the earth, you know, in hiding. And the book actually begins with him saying he had it all, and then his brother and Argo 5 ruined it. So now he wants revenge, and he wants to basically rule the world. And what happens is he comes face to face with this little boy named Jack, and Jack is... if for those of you that read about the Paladins, Jack has Merlin's medallion, and Gadu senses the magical artifact, and it leads him to Jack, and he possesses Jack, and Argo 5 show up because they had found Gadu for a brief moment, and then he disappeared. They come face to face with Jack, and
there's lots of references that they make in the book, like from Argo and other stories, which is actually pretty interesting, so that we understand the story more.
Yeah, and then Kassira actually notices that Jack is possessed, and she could see that Gadu's the one possessing him. And when they go, when things get like it looks like they're gonna fight, when Jack is in trouble, the medallion calls the
right there.
Yeah, the Paladins. And they don't understand why Argo 5 is attacking Jack, but their job is to protect Jack at all costs. The medallion has a spell of protection. So the rest of the book, for the most part, is an all-out fight between Argo 5 and the Paladins. Once again, thanks to Gadu, 2 good forces are fighting each other. Only the force that's fighting Argo 5 has no idea that they're actually protecting Gadu. But then, out of nowhere, Merlin shows up and expels Gadu from... actually, no, he exposes Gadu, and then Kassira actually traps him between realms, so to speak. So... the search for Gadu is now not Merlin. I forgot who showed up. It wasn't Merlin. It just hit me.
I think it was Merlin.
No, it wasn't Merlin. It was somebody looking to assemble villains.
Oh, that guy, you mean?
Oh, Morlock's the Malevolent.
Yeah. That's what
I'm sorry, guys. It was Morlock. Mortorox, the Malevolent, and it was the funny scene was there are a bunch of mega heroes behind me right now, aren't there? And it's like Argo 5 and the Paladins, and they're both behind him, and he's like, "Drats, back to the
drawing board."
So that's when Gadu gets trapped between realms. The Paladins disappear. Jack has no idea what happened, and basically that's the end of Gadu, at least for now.
Yeah, I really think that the medallion played a really great role. Like, even if you didn't know what it was, you know, they kind of explain a little bit.
Yeah, it was kind of explained. You don't have to read.
Right, because basically the medallion was to protect him from people who harm him. But what they didn't know is that Argo 5 wanted to help him, not hurt him in
Well,
any
Argo
way.
Comics Anthology issue 6 explains each of the characters that is part of the Paladins and their origin.
Right, so that way you could get a little bit of a backstory and you get to understand more of the heroes, like,
right.
you know.
And then, of course, there's a ton of pinups, as always. Awesome artworks from across the board from tons of different artists. And, again, Blue Dynamo, in my opinion, shines the most. Argo 5 issue 7 is an absolute definitely must read. I enjoyed this series. If you guys have not picked up any issues of Argo 5 yet, I would highly recommend you guys check out issue 0 and issue 1. You'll enjoy both of those. Give them a shot.
All of them too. I mean, they'll enjoy every issue. And
if you do, there are a ton of other issues for Argo 5 that you guys can check out. I'm loving how we're moving forward each week with a new issue, and I'm loving
I look
as
forward
the
to
story's
reading
progressing.
Because you know it's always a great thing to look forward to reading. Argo 5 is the first thing I look at to read.
Yeah, Mike actually just started reading the past 2 issues, and he's been loving the series as well. It's an awesome series. It's something that actually feels like an actual superhero team book, which we haven't really felt lately from any of the big 2. Yeah, I haven't felt that at all. So Argo 5 actually feels like a serious team book, and really it doesn't look to push anything. It looks to just be what it is, and that's what makes it awesome.
It's not all around confusing and everything. It's just right there, boom, 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 understand it.
Exactly, and that's what makes the series and the characters that much more relatable and awesome. Chain Reaction had his moment in here with I forgot the ninja from the Paladins, the girl.
Oh, that ninja one.
Yeah,
the one
don't think I forgot. Yeah, he's always getting into trouble with the lady. So each character has their own personality, and it shines in the book, and that's what makes it so awesome. So I would highly recommend you guys give Argo 5 a chance. It's worth it. It's worth the money. You go to Argo Comics, ARGO Comics.com, and check out the comics that are there. It's called Argo 5. Spectacular series. Highly recommend it.
Yes.
And that's it for the comics that are not from this week.
Yeah, so should I get to the physical copies?
Physical copies first, absolutely. We have 11 digital this week, and how many physical? 3 physical. So, 14 books.
First physical from Image Comics, The Walking Dead, issue number 119, an all-out war, chapter 5 of 12, of Rick's team versus Negan.
One more issue and you're halfway there.
Yeah, and basically throughout the first book, oh, by the way, it is black and white, just want to show it.
It's always black and white.
Yeah. Really, it's a straightforward book where, you know, we got Ezekiel who talks to Michonne about the people who he's lost, and Michonne snaps him out of it saying, you know, it's not only you, it's us as well that are affected by people they've lost. Meanwhile, Carl tells Rick about how they lost the war and how many people they've lost as well. And how Ezekiel's been, you know, acting not like himself. So he has a meeting where things don't turn out well, where Negan comes and he's like saying, you know, I just want to talk. We have Liz, where, yeah, she turned out to be, or was it Liz? Or Holly? Can't remember her name. I think, I don't know. No, I think it was Holly, I don't remember. Yeah. But really interesting read.
You see that, man?
It does, yeah. It does give you the Walking Dead feel to it, like in the TV series where the governor recently.
Oh look, they're gonna make an.
Oh, the Negan figure. Yeah, I showed that in the in-depth review. But it kind of reminded me of the TV series where the governor went to go meet Rick at the prison, saying that he just wanted to talk. Like, it kind of has like a almost relatable, you know, thing to that. And I actually found that very interesting. Like, I was putting the book down saying, that looks awfully familiar.
It is Holly, by the way.
It is Holly, okay. I was just making sure. But, yeah, she turns into one of them, the walkers. And I didn't really expect that. I thought maybe, but then after a while I thought, wait, something's a twist. And Negan orders attack, and it's to be continued until the next issue of the.
Wasn't he not going to hurt Holly originally?
Well, they said that they weren't going to rape her, but he didn't say anything about not killing her. That's one thing that you gotta look at. Oh, I guess you're gonna put over there. Okay. But it was an average read, and that was okay. Next is Vertical Comics of Hinterkind, issue number 4, where things get very intensive with the Dr. Monday, along with going to the same facility after what one of his colleagues did to the other men, thinking that he was armed. There is a death there, but you guys have to read the book. Meanwhile, I can't believe Angus is alive. I really thought from last issue like he died because of what it showed. Here's some artwork I want to show you, which is pretty good artwork. And this guy is just talking to them about, I think Colonel Godwin, his name was. Let me just check. Yeah, he just talks about, you know, himself, about, yeah, Dr. Godwin, about how he became to be with all this thing on his face and all that other stuff. Meanwhile, there's just Starla, where she gets into a mess of trouble with some toxic things, and Prosper reunites with her grandfather. Things get a little bit out of control, and somebody betrays them from the team. And if you want to know who it is, you can check my in-depth comic review and see who that person is. But it's getting really good and really intense, Hinterkind. You know, I'm actually really enjoying it. I'm actually glad to see Angus alive, along with Prosper reuniting with her grandfather. But let's see how things go from there on in. This is flat out book of the week.
Even though it didn't come out. Well, it came out this week, but it was made years and years and years ago.
Yeah, and I gotta give it to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Color Classics Volume 2, issue number 3. In this comic book, it just really talks about the Justice Force, where Stainless Steve was an original member. And here's some artwork to show you, which is excellently drawn. And he gets everybody all together where they have their devices, and meanwhile...
oh, I remember this. This was in the Ultimate Collection.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember what his name was. Like, he's just trying to, you know, get rid of the Justice Force along with the Turtles who get involved. So, I think he was known as Doom or Dome something, but he unleashes a Domebot robot and meets someone who he thought was Denise, but it was actually Anata, who is Bernice's daughter. And she talks about how her mother died years ago. This is what really touched me in this comic book. How Stainless Steel says, and I have to read just this part. You know, he's like saying, you have to realize that it's never too late to change. As long as there's life, there's hope for redemption. Hope for even Dome, that's his name. Come and stay with us, and maybe we can start to heal some old wounds. After I read that part, and when he went with them, because it's never too late to change, that just flat out touched my heart. Book of the week. Just... because to think that you could change a villain, and in life you could change a person.
That there's always time for redemption no matter what.
Exactly, and it's so relatable in everybody's life. This could be actually definitely relatable. Book of the week. You guys have definitely got to check out Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Color Classics. Every time I read this comic book, it just touches me. Well, this one did, but there are some moments in the story where you can relate to them, or you can... It's just amazing. Book of the week, 5 out of 5. Definite. IDW. And that's all for physical copies, so let's get into some digital comics.
Yes. Let's start with Dynamite's Ash and the Army of Darkness, issue number 3. I feel like we missed issue 2. Did we miss issue 2? I remember reviewing issue 1.
I think we did review issue 2, where he was... in the store.
Yeah, we did.
Baby.
Yeah.
So yeah, here's the cover.
I can swear we didn't, but anyway. Basically, the whole beginning is Ash versus the undead. He's now rejoined with, I forgot what her name was from the movie, but...
I can't even remember. Like they had a thing with each other. Well, used to.
And the wizard basically allows Ash to escape. And basically he allows Ash to escape because he wants Ash to find the Book of the Dead. And then he's going to bring Ash home, so to speak. And Ash already figured out the plan, so now he wants to figure out what to do against what the wizard wants. And we get to see Redbeard again. We get to hear talk about Arthur again. And we find out that to beat the wizard and the evil dead and the Deadites, as they call them,
you have to go through some big obstacle.
A big old dark forest. And that's the very short version of the book. Yeah, and I love how in the end Ash is like, gee, there's always a catch. Or I want to get down to it and it'll say it. Yeah, there's always a catch. And that's where the book ends. Army of Darkness has always been an awesome story. Love the movies, all three, Evil Dead 2, and Army of Darkness. Really glad that they're actually pursuing the forward story, the continuing story on Army of Darkness. As when Army of Darkness ended, there was definitely potential for an Army of Darkness 2. It never happened. However, the comic series is taking up perfectly right after the movie.
The thing that never happens, don't you always wish that?
I wonder. I don't wish, I wonder.
Or wonder too, because if it's happening in comic books, then it's like saying, gee, we could make a movie. It's just, like you said, a wonder instead of...
Now, you read this book this week because I did not have the time.
The Shadow, which is issue number...
21.
Forgot the issue number, but that's okay. Basically, The Shadow's straightforward. He talks about this it's in China, and he talks about this character named Huang, Huang, and it talks about his origin. Huang, yeah. And there's this big murder thing that happens there, and all the people gather around together to talk about this incident. And actually, Shadow was known as a different name. Go up. Because they mention his name before he enters the room. I think Young Kao or Young Ko, or yeah, there it is.
Jin Fulin.
I think Jim Fulin. I think his name. No, wasn't it Cody? Or something like that. But he went under basically a different name as a code name. Yeah, that one.
Yinko.
Yinko. Thank you. He went under the name Yinko because they had a bit of a history between each other, and he knows about Huang, and he wants them to tell the people who he really is, and he's really looking more or less on who burned the person, and it looked like it was made of bleach, and we find out who actually did it, and you're gonna actually say this to be weird. It was a woman who does all the laundry and everything, because she has the bleach, and she talks about the reason why she did this was because her son was in a war, and she lost him and everything, so she's just expressing her pain to the other people. And Shadow Man, or was it Shadow?
Yeah.
The Shadow?
The Shadow.
The Shadow. Sorry. The Shadow didn't really like it that much, and he was telling her you will pay for your actions because he doesn't forgive people who do their wrongdoings. So he just went to Huang, and he told him basically who did all this murder and everything, and he just leaves it at that. But it was more focused on Huang, I would say, in this book.
Yeah, there's really not much of the Shadow.
Yeah, you learn more about him, and what he does in the end is something I don't think he'll ever forget, that Huang will never forget. But this was an interesting read. I actually enjoyed it. As always, it's always full of action, And
because it's the shadow.
Yeah, and notice that ring is now on his finger from now on.
Yeah.
So just notice that. But I would say definitely check it out for those of you who have been reading The Shadow.
Let's see, is there anything else from Dynamite? Are you from Dynamite? No. We have a lot of Dark Horse, so let's jump into some Dark Horse books, actually.
Okay, this one?
Yes, I really want to quickly, briefly jump into Dark Horse Presents issue number 32. It's the final part to Hellboy gets married. It's part 2 of 2. And Hellboy is now married to a demon. Tries to take the ring off. Ring turns into a snake and says you've, you're bound to her forever and ever and whatever. And eventually he gets it off and he's like, yeah, we'll see about that. And he goes all Hellboy on everybody because it's not just her. He gets attacked by a bunch of undead, and it was awesome. The artwork and the story itself was awesome. And the ending was pretty sad, actually. Not for Hellboy, but for the female demon. And it kind of just ends like that. It was a very short story. I would say it was only about... how many pages does it say?
Yeah, there's really less dialogue and more action, which is actually what this book
sometimes it's yeah, exactly.
The snake, though,
actually... Yeah, it's only 8 pages long. Sorry for interrupting. It's only an 8-page long story.
Yeah, from what I'm looking at also, it's like the snake really... played a role of saying, like,
He tried to trap Hellboy.
Well, that's what snake serpents do, they're like, the devil, which they represent.
Other stories in this book that I did not read are Inner City Chapter 3, The Deleted Chapter 1, Crime Does Not Pay, City of Roses Chapter 11, Nexus Into the Past Chapter 8, Monstrous Chapter 3, Kill Me, Chapter 2, St. George, Dragon Slayer, Chapter 3, The Many Murders of Miss Cramborn, The Library in the Body, Chapter 1, and Alabaster Box Cab Tales, Chapter 13.
I gotta start wearing my reading glasses again.
Yeah, they really make this reading, the writing small.
Really
so let's actually go into this book, which me and you read, and it's called Skyman, issue number 1. I believe it's a 4-issue miniseries, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so too. It said 104, I believe. But Skyman.
What did you think of the book?
This is a wow issue. Like it talks about first the original Skyman who goes berserk on people, and they go to this guy named Eric. Who, he...
lost the use of his legs.
Right.
He can't walk.
Right, so he's in, I think, rehab, trying to, get his legs back and everything. So he winds up in the hospital, and he feels fine. Like, he's like saying, my legs are fine.
I can move my legs again, yeah.
Yeah, but why? And we find out, later on in the book, that there's this belt he wears. And if the belt somehow should deactivate,
he loses his
leg powers and everything else. And the only way he can do that is that there's going to be one person who takes control of his actions and whether he activates it or not. And I don't know about you, but didn't you find him to be a little bit jerky?
Yeah, that blonde-haired soldier. I didn't like him either.
I didn't really like him. Like, he wants him to go to the White House where President Obama is giving a speech, and he wants him to go there because Obama was going to introduce him, the new Skyman.
Yeah.
And he gets there, or tries to, almost not making it there alive. And I just hate that guy.
Yeah, he shuts down the power. And
he's like saying, oh, we're having a little bit of a malfunction here. Just wait, we're coming back online. And he's just playing around like, really? Then right there he makes a landing. And that's where it ends up with him and President Obama. And
yeah, I don't like that agent. Yeah. He's a jerk, and I have a feeling he's going to be the antagonist.
Yeah, what do you say in the end?
Nice landing, Skyman.
Skyman, yeah.
Yeah, so I have a feeling that there's going to be something between Skyman and this agent. He's definitely going to be an antagonist in this series.
You should throw him out of the plane.
I'd love to see him get thrown out of a plane, is right.
But heroes aren't supposed to do that.
Yeah, I said I'd like to see it.
I know, but I'm just saying... You know,
Yeah.
it would be unheroic if he did that.
Mm-hmm. Do we have time? We have time
Yeah,
for one
we have
more.
like 2 minutes almost.
What did you think of Halo Escalation issue number 2?
Wait, first let me show the cover. Halo, I thought was actually, wasn't that bad, really. Like, it's just about the war that's still going on.
Yeah, basically the humans want a truce with the brutes, and they try to use the Arbiter to, have negotiations with the brutes. And while this happens, somehow the evil covenant, because the Arbiter runs the peaceful covenant, or at least the peaceful elites, there basically is a bounty out on stopping the treaty and taking heads, basically.
Right.
And by the end of the last issue, the Arbiter, the brutes, everybody ends up in a stronghold, which was it's a plasma refinery, and they lock themselves in, and they're basically trapped because the Covenant are all around them, and there's nowhere for them to go. In this issue, they find out about a path underground, and they're trying to find a way off the planet to get the Arbiter and what's his name?
Tom?
No, the Arbiter's head.
Oh, I just had the name.
I love
I know. I love how we forget names. Oh, come on! I've read this.
Basically, they're ambassadors. The Brood Ambassador,
Yeah,
I'm going to call them.
Let's call them that because my head's
So,
just.
they escape, and it seems every time they come out into the light, though, like whenever they pop their heads up, somehow the Covenant knows exactly where they are. And we find out in this issue that somebody on the inside is a traitor. And we don't find out who that traitor is until the very, very end of the issue.
Yeah.
And that was a wow. But beside the point, this issue was action-packed. The artwork was spectacular. Couldn't ask for a better Halo issue.
How better can you get? This is, not that bad, really.
And it has Spartans in it. It may not be the Master Chief, but it still has Spartans in it. And it's awesome. There's mention of the ODST, which they don't drop because they lost communication with the planet, so now the brutes want to know what's going on, the humans want to know what's going on, and nobody knows what's going on. And they're trying to break communications so this way they can reach out and say, we need backup, we need to get picked up. And I was about to spoil it, but I'm not. At the very last page, we find out who the traitor is, and apparently the parties and the ambassadors are going right into that person's hands.
Yeah.
And it's to be continued. And this is the first story arc. This is an ongoing series. It's not going to end at the end of this story arc, so it'll be very interesting to see what exactly happens next.
So let's... before...
So yes, so with that, the alarm was supposed to go off. We will be right back in a brief moment. We are taking a little click of the button break, and we will be right back. And we're back, and Mike, your book is next. It's X2, issue number 9.
Yes. This book was really great, this comic book. Like, here's what I'm going to explain about this book. Like, it first talks about this guy who sees himself after he murders this person. With the red sunglasses and everything. And after he finds out that he wants to kill himself in a suicidal way, but he can't do it, so he wants someone to do it. And as the issue continues, we see lots of things going on that kill that guy. Smiling Sam.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're looking for someone to kill Smiling Sam, and the guy actually does it, whereas X2?
Yeah.
Yeah, X2 wants to kill him, and then the guy's like saying, do it, please kill me, I'm beg of you. And then he's like saying that doesn't work that way, so he just leaves him there. And then as the issue moves forward, the guy actually spies on him. I can't remember what his name was. He actually spies on him, and he wants to take out every person before X2 does, to be his partner in crime. And he says, and I will do this until you kill me. So they have a fight scene. Like he's saying, I'm going to make you work until you have to kill me and you have no choice. So they have a fight scene. Instead of him killing him, let's just say he broke his legs into 2 or more than that. So he does ask the ambulance to take him in. And this is the part that really got me. He reminds me of Frank Castle when he said this line. He said, Turner is dead. From now on, call me, or from now on, I'm Death Wish. Just the part where he said Turner is dead, because it's like Frank Castle.
It reminds you of the,
It reminds me of that. I'm not saying he is, I'm saying that word and that phrase remind me of that. And that's how he became Death Wish, because he wishes to die. Which is explainable. But it was a great read. I definitely recommend you check out that comic book and see for yourselves. What do you think?
Okay. Before we get into the main title, let's talk about the side title. Star Wars Darth Vader and the Cry of Shadows, issue number 2. This one is more of a flashback to the clone soldier and how he fought actually to survive in the wilderness because he was left, as we found out in the last issue, in the past, he got left there. So this issue kind of explains how he got from where he was trapped, left alone to survive, to the part where he collapses on the farm where we actually see him in the present day.
Right.
Also, we learn about his training with Boba Fett. Boba Fett makes an appearance. And we also find out in the present that he joins back up with the clone army, and he actually becomes a commander at the end, and he gets his wish. He's actually working side by side with Darth Vader.
It all works really nice.
And that's basically all I'm going to leave it at right now. So this story is basically a cut, dry, straightforward story, but it's really good, and the artwork is spectacular.
I know,
Like you just said, it was a really spectacular read. By far the best artwork for Star Wars. Next issue is the Surrounded Offensive. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens next. Action-packed book, awesome artwork, really good dialogue. You can't go wrong with basically any Star Wars book that comes out of Dark Horse. I know for a fact that when this series goes back to Marvel, things are going to get all screwed up again.
Oh, yeah.
Now on to my favorite series, Star Wars Dawn of the Jedi, Force War, issue number 3. This is chapter 3. Exi has become a Force Hound again for the, what's the word of these people? I keep forgetting their names. For the Rakatan.
Oh.
And he betrays basically the Jedis. Tells the Rakatan about their plans, about their people, about the Seekers and everything. Basically, from what it looks like, he was meant to betray them from way back in the first chapter. He was supposed to be good and then betray the Jedi. And he actually fights it back a little bit. And then the Rakatan head, I forgot his name, says, do you think if they knew everything about you that they would actually accept you and keep you for who you were? And he's like, no, they wouldn't. And that's when he actually turns back to the Rakatan, and he does a huge betrayal on all of his friends and the entire Jedi Order. At the end of the issue, basically, 2 people swear that they're going to kill Exi if they ever have the chance to. And the girl that fell in love with Exi actually can't believe that he betrayed the Jedi. And that's
wasn't he just proving the point because of the vision?
I think he's faking the whole thing. He's gonna look like he's betraying everybody, but then he's gonna take out the Rakatan at the end
to find more information about them.
Right, exactly.
So it's like a
minor betrayal in order to save the day. But I could be wrong. Last book from Dark Horse this week is Star Wars issue 13. These next 2 issues are main focused on Darth Vader. And Darth Vader is looking for redemption after Colonel Bircher's betrayal of the Imperial armies. And you see this book through the eyes of, what's her name? Ensign Nanda, who's working side by side with Darth Vader. They go to the Imperial Center to find information out. They go to Botwanu. They even go back to the main ship, the main Devastator, that in the very first issue Darth Vader was relieved of duty on, and Bircher actually took over for him, and then betrayed the Empire and the the Devastator. And basically he shows up and he blames all the heads of the ship for this betrayal, and in the end there's a lot of death, let's just put it that way. There is a moment with Obi-Wan Kenobi which was awesome. Oh my god, that was the best moment of this book, I think, where Obi-Wan is talking to him from beyond, and he's like, I told you, do you remember what I said to you? And he's like, I shall become more powerful once, more powerful than you can possibly imagine. When Obi-Wan's last words were, you may have cut my body down, but remember what I told you, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine. Basically, he astrologically projected himself out into the Force. And in the end, Vader finds out about the X-Wings in the Alderaan system, where all the hidden stuff is.
And that's where he finds more information.
Yeah, let's go there. We're going to go find out more stuff. I'm going to take it to the traders and everybody else. And that's basically where the book ends. To be continued in the next part. This is spectacular. Not that much action, but at the same time, it's just Darth Vader and it's awesome.
Of course.
It's straight up just Darth Vader. Now, the next 2 books are yours, but let's start with this book. Let's go into Valiant. We're doing Shadow Man, issue 14. I didn't read this at all, so how was it this week?
Shadow Man, you feel really bad for this guy. I mean, for Jack Boniface? Okay, good. I got the name right. Alright. It goes into more of Jack Boniface, and this girl, Alyssa, like, she really wants to help him, and she actually falls in love with him, and she thinks that he can stop him from being angry for doing what he does, because this man, he goes through these terrible flashbacks and how he could have prevented with that crazy girl that we saw from the last issue of the Sniffing Glue, whatever that was called. I believe it was called Sniffing Glue. In the end, though, Alyssa gets a message from, what's his name? I think it's her father, I believe. And let's just say after he told Alyssa about what Jack Boniface did. What Docs told her, what he did. Oh boy. I don't know if that's going to come to terms of Alyssa not actually thinking he is what she thought he is. And that's to be continued, so that's like me saying, like, what's next? Like, seriously, you're gonna leave me guessing? Well, that's what comic books are.
Right.
You have to expect that. But, great read. I still feel bad for the character. Even though it's fictional, you still feel bad for him because of all these angers and everything else he goes through. You know, you feel bad for him. But it is a great read, and I'll recommend you guys check it out.
And finally this week from IDW Publishing, The X-Files, Season 10, Issue number 6.
It should have been on TV.
I have... Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's issue number 8, by the way.
Why did they add this?
Are you done? It's issue number 8, actually, of Season 10 of X-Files. I got halfway through the book, and I had to stop. The artwork just doesn't... It's very, very...
I think the artwork was pretty good.
The artwork has no detail.
Only a little bit.
There's no detail to the artwork, really.
Right, but I really looked at the story. I mean...
I tried. I halfway through, I just couldn't take that there was, like, almost, like,
well,
nothing.
I'll guide you halfway
through the
story. Oh, right here? Oh, okay. Basically, this story is
Start from
that...
the beginning.
Okay. Starts off where, in the school, there are these kids who are, you know, dying. And they don't know who or what is causing this. And this guy's like, you know, behind this. I can't remember his name. But they do have a backstory about it.
Yeah, they keep flashing back.
It's a virus. That's what it was. There was this virus that was spreading around, kind of like a plague, I would say, and it's affecting everyone. But then Fox actually saw a sign with an X on his chest, meaning that he would be next. And Dana is actually looking into more research about this. And the guy who was behind all this virus thing, he pulls the old Wizard of Oz and just melts.
Yeah, basically that's it.
It just melts. I mean, not when you put water on him. He just melted, and that was it. So Fox is like completely like, what's going to happen to me now after seeing all these signs? And more research from Dana is going to be really something else about this virus. And I like how they're advertising about the X-Files crossing over and meeting the Ghostbusters.
Yeah, the X-Files conspiracy comes out
I am
next
looking
week.
Next week?
This week. It came out this week. This is for the week of the 15th.
I'm looking forward to reading that.
It's really good.
Because they're
I'm
like
surprised you didn't
paranormal.
want the physical copies and you're only reading it digitally.
Well, it's right here. I mean, why wait? It's right there.
Good point.
But,
X-Files has been a really awesome series. It's just this issue's artwork kind of turned me off a little bit. I don't know why, but it did.
we all have different opinions. And that's basically it.
So my book of the week still stands with Star Wars issue 13.
Yeah, and my book of the week would be between, well, it's X2 for that one, along with the physical copy of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
The Color Classics Volume 2, issue number 2.
Yeah.
Or
And
3.
and our book of the week is Argo 5.
Oh, absolutely. That book surpasses any book
Like
that
for
came
both
out
of
this
us,
week.
for both of us.
But again, it didn't come out this week, so we can't actually rank it
I
as
know.
anything in this week because it didn't come out this week. But if Dan ever gives us a copy that comes out the exact week we're reviewing,
I'll definitely
I'm
read it.
99.9% sure it will be our pick of the week, for sure.
Definitely.
And with that, that's it, guys.
All for now.
So don't forget to check out Comic Related, Comic Frontline, and DarkAvengerInc.com, all of them at .com. We are all your #1 source for comic-related news, reviews, and more. Don't forget that Dark Avenger Inc. is moving to Comic Frontline on February 11, 2014. The videos will cease on Dark Avenger Inc. and continue on Comic Frontline. Mike and I actually made a trailer today, which is why we look exhausted and why we're doing this video at 4:30 in the morning.
And frozen a little bit inside.
Yeah, frozen a little bit. And if you want, you can scoot over to Comic Frontline and check that video out. And while you're there, if you haven't already, please do click that sub button. This way, when we make the move on February 11th, you won't miss out
on a single thing.
And we're doing a live show for February 11th, so you won't miss the first ever
big.
live show on Comic Frontline. It's going to be humongous. We have tons of guests lined up for not only launch week, but for beyond launch week, so it's going to be crazy. If you enjoy this video and every other review I do on this channel and you're not already subscribed, please do take the time out to click that sub button for my channel. This way I'm in your sub box and you don't miss out on a single review, haul, or what have you. Thank you guys so much for sticking around. Take care, keep reading, keep collecting, and we will see you guys tomorrow night for the Big 2 review. But until next time, guys, take care, keep reading, keep collecting, and we will see you guys, as I just said,
and keep watching
in the next review. Take care, everybody.
Later, guys.
I repeated myself twice. Isn't that great?
That's great.
Take care, everybody.
Later, guys.